Hey, all, welcome into another edition of S2S Colorado Live on the Voice of College Football Network. I am your two hosts here, Miles and Manny. Make sure to give us a follow follow me at Manny_303 and at Miles High Buff with an S at the end. And then make sure you guys too, we have a new X account that we just launched for Voice of College Football Colorado. It is at Colorado VOCFB. So make sure to give us a follow if you're watching this on X right now and streaming live on our pages. Just make sure you guys just check our, recently liked, retweeted things. That account will be in there. Also, make sure you catch our show on Spotify, Apple, Radio, Amazon, Believe, or any major podcast platform. And also, really cool thing that just started maybe a couple earlier this week, wasn't it, Miles?
Yeah, I think we got the news on like Saturday or Sunday, if I remember correctly.
It's Sunday, yeah. We have memberships available, so if you want to support the show, there's super chats. Just feel inclined to help support, the work we do. Again, we are always grateful for you guys. But regardless, drop a comment below. And today, we want to know who's your favorite portal edition so far, right? So, and I know we're kind of dwindling down now. We're at the almost very end of this portal cycle. It has seemed like it has gone on forever and just fast and furious for the most part. So, but yeah, and make sure we also have a Voice of College Football Colorado store that helps the show as well. So, Miles, how you doing today, man?
Hey, man, I'm feeling great. It's been a beautiful Friday here in Colorado. I'm feeling good. I am excited for like the hectic, transfer portal stuff to die down a little bit. But yeah, no, I'm excited to get into some of the interesting things that have happened this week, and talk about some other fun topics along the way.
Yep. And I think we have a good show planned today. So let's jump right into this. Let's talk about Ralphie Report, news and notes of the day. So Miles, you want to start us off there?
Yeah, absolutely. First things first. I know there was a lot of things that came up this week. We're not going to jump into the big news, but first things first, I think we want to touch on is just some lighthearted, happy news that came up this week in the Colorado Buffaloes program, and that would be tight end Brady Copets earning a scholarship for the Colorado Buffaloes. Manny, this is one of those things that there's been a lot of changes and a lot of guys leaving and all the stuff about the original Buffs and all this stuff. But, seeing a guy like Brady be able to work his way up to a scholarship, and I think he had briefly entered the portal, ends up coming back. It's just such a great thing to see. And I don't know about you, I'm super happy for him.
Yep, no, absolutely. This is the kind of stuff, that we see as Colorado fans, and it goes a long way and something we don't see a ton in college football, the loyalty, and, it is rewarded, right? At some point it comes back around. So I'm really excited for him. And, Brady represents everything it is to be a Colorado Buffalo.
Yeah, absolutely. And I need to know where this room is in the Champions Center, because it looks, I don't know if we can play the video, so I'm going to leave it here, but go watch the video. It looks so cool in there, wherever that is. But yeah, congrats to Brady. That's such a great moment for him and his family, and glad we get to keep some of these guys around who really bleed the black and gold.
Yep, absolutely. Oh man, here we go. Humble Texan says, hey, Buff Nation, it's freezing, Miles.
Hey, it's still sunny. It actually was pretty cold today. I'm not going to lie, but I don't know. I grew up on the East Coast, and, sunshine to me is better than like the dark and cloudy gray days,
Okay. Yep. Yeah. I know I had a couple roommates from like Pennsylvania and Massachusetts, and they're like, oh yeah, it's always sunny here. And it's like, yeah, but it's really cold. So they're like, it's not that bad. I've never been in the like wet cold. I heard it's not fun though. So
not fun at all. You don't want to do it.
Yep. All right. Next one. So Mata. So he is going to be headed to the NFL. So NFL draft. Big news for him, as we see, just fantastic, declared for the draft. I am, man, he's one of those original ones that came over with Prime, and holy cow, man, like it's crazy to see him. It's weird to think that he's actually not going to be a Buff next year, right?
Yeah, I know. He's just been such a consistent figure around the program ever since Coach Prime came around, and a guy that fans have had mixed feelings on and stuff like that. But like you could tell, keeps Coach Prime super happy and has earned his trust and is very loyal. We'll see where he ends up at the next step. One of those guys that's going to be interesting to see if he gets a chance. And congrats to Mata for being able to take that next step. And I'll never forget that walk-off field goal. I think it was against ASU. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
Was it ASU?
Right. This one right here. Yeah, I think it was ASU.
Yeah.
I was at ASU.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. What was it? When was the game that Prime had him go out there and start dancing and doing his thing? What game? Is that TCU?
Maybe I don't remember off the top of my head, but I remember where they were getting a little silly with it.
Oh my God! Every time I see that or think of Mata, that is what I think of, him dancing out there and probably pushing him back out there to go dance some more. So it just feels kind of crazy that he's not gonna be on the team anymore. Another character.
We wish the best for him.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And that dude was nails these last couple years. First, what was it, like total of like 3 or 4 missed field goals over the past 2 years?
Yeah, and most of those I think were blocked, if I remember correctly. But a consistent kicker when he gets it above the line.
Because was it the 24 season, right? Travis Hunter's Heisman winning season. He missed one against CSU and didn't miss again, right? The rest of the season.
I think so. If I remember that correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. Next one. So I thought this one was like, Miles and I talked about it this morning. Actually, I was like, dude, did you see Ben Finneseth had a WWE tryout? I saw it on Well Off. There was a clip that came across. Miles and I talked, and I was like, that is actually the perfect career for him, right? It has to be.
Yeah, he's one of those personalities. Again, I'm not sure about showing the clip, but go check out the clip if you find it on Twitter. But he's one of those personalities that's just built for television. He's funny. He's not afraid of the limelight. He's a goofball. And he's one of those people that's like not afraid to kind of get clowned if he takes a chance on something, which is like, WWE in a nutshell. So, I think he fits well in that space. And hopefully he ends up actually, going live with it.
What kind of are you in a WWE, Miles?
I can't say I ever have been. Just honestly, it's never been something. It was not part of my family, and I didn't realize until I really moved out here to Colorado how big it really is, like outside of my small northeastern bubble. Yeah,
I love WWE, so still watch it, still into it. Like my guy's Roman Reigns, so so just everyone knows,
means
right?
Nothing to me.
yeah, don't worry. Like, he's the tribal chief, so just so you know. All right,
I'm learning. Hey, if you guys are in the chat, that could be the new question of the day. Throw it. Who is your favorite WWE individual? I guess is the right way to put it.
And my question back to you is going to be like, what character would he be? Like, what mold would he fit in? And now I don't know. Yeah, I got to think of that. So in the chat, let's roll with that. Like, who do you guys think he would? Ben Finneseth, like a John Cena role, Bret Hart, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes. Like, what would be his? What would that look like, right? So I just think it's a perfect fit for him as well. So very cool. 100%. Yeah, and I think you had some news about a running back, right?
Yeah, this was an interesting one. It popped up earlier in the week. Deuce Vaughn visiting Boulder, linking up with our guy Trackhawk. Interesting stuff. I know he's been in Denver, which is great to see. And I think that's something that, we saw last year with some of the Swayze regiments, some NFL guys coming back to Boulder and wanting to just be around the program. I think that's cool for, talking about how you sell CU in the portal and stuff like that. Like things like this are interesting to certain guys. And so I just thought that was a cool little bit to touch on. And good to see,
I love it.
Trackhawk too.
Yeah. Yep. And I love it because that is kind of what you're going to get in Boulder, right? It is like as much as we keep saying this, though, you're going to be around so much talent and so much football knowledge that this is what you get when you go to Boulder, it's fantastic. So great environment though. So I love this picture right here as well.
Totally.
And then we had one. So Humble Texan says, Cody wrote. Yeah, that's part of the thing. They did it. And I want to say it was overseas. They did the Cody Rhodes. Yeah. So they was something like that, but he'd be Jake the Snake though. That's that's pretty good though. That might actually be pretty perfect and spot on. So I love that. Yep. Cody Rhodes, but he'd be Jake the Snake. So that's awesome.
Again, this all just goes straight over my head.
It's okay, Miles.
I'll learn.
Clips over this long 3-day weekend. So
yeah, please
be prepared. Even if you don't know if you have Netflix. Maybe I can share my password with you, and you can go in and watch all the old wrestling now because it's on Netflix. So just so you know.
I'm making a note of it right now. So
okay, that way you can understand it all. And you'd be like, oh, okay, I get what Manny's talking about.
Yeah.
But Boot Carter, yeah. So we were talking about this as well, running back and safety. So Coach Marion posted this asking for a friend. I mean, the dude is an athletic freak. I had a real good friend of mine today send me asking me about him. Is he going to play like both sides of the ball? He said, I mean, yeah, I don't know if they're hyping him up or if he's, I wasn't sure, but he's like, I watched him play high school basketball. He's like, I don't know why. I just found clips of him playing high school basketball. I was like, well, I've never seen those. But I said, but I bet it was like really awesome to watch. And he was just like, dude, that kid is such an athlete. So I don't know, Miles, what's your take on it?
I mean, I have to imagine to some extent that this might have been part of the pitch, right? Like I know for those of you who are not familiar, Boot Carter's high school tape is one of the most electric. It's like the Ball is Life mixtape, but for, high school football, like that type of thing, where it's just like a legendary compilation of the most insane plays that you've ever seen. And yeah, he went both ways. And I think that they had told him he could at Tennessee a little bit. He played some receiver in their spring game and then just never did it again. So running back is one of the areas that we'll get into it later about, like, we got a couple of questions about. And the one thing I don't want to see is this become a like Cam Michael situation where you're just like kind of like putting him there to put him there because you don't know what to do with him. And like, I want him to be a safety and I want him to focus on the defensive side of the ball. If he gets a couple running back touches, sure. We'll see what happens. Like, he's an athlete.
Yeah. I guess my only concern when I read that is like safety and running back. And I was like, man, you were going to take a beating at running back and then helping in the run game, right? As a safety. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but he is an absolute, like, watching his football highlights, like, yeah, he is, from high school, just, it's insane. And I didn't even think to watch his basketball one. So I'm going to go watch his basketball one after this because I'm like, okay, what did that look like? Here's another one for you.
I want to pin this really quick just because it's relevant to the conversation. Yeah, I mean, you can, again, I think he's an athlete. They're going to have plenty of time to try him out through spring ball and the summer and all this stuff to figure out like where he can and can't play. But I also think kick returner, if you just give him those reps, he's going to make a difference for you in some capacity. So I agree. That's kind of where I was getting to with the Cam Michael thing, where it's like, we don't need to be putting people in positions that they never really felt comfortable before, just for the sake of it.
And almost even have him at like a weird, like in this weird, I don't even know the right word, like purgatory almost.
Yeah.
Like, what is your position? I don't know at this point, right? So I'm with you there. And then here's another one from Major Vibes. He's more a 619, so that's Rey Mysterio.
Okay, it's back to the Ben Finneseth thing.
Back to our WWE. So I like that too. I would see him coming out, and again, we are spending way too much time on this, but I see him coming out. You remember when he did his Prime impression and impersonation of him, and he came out with like overalls on at practice?
Yeah.
I feel like that would be the wrestling character, and I just can't unsee that at this point. So.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Again, I got to catch myself up here, but we're learning as we go.
Yeah, note to self, right? That's what you have going on. So, and then I think next was an update on players in the portal, right, Miles? Is that what you?
Yeah. Wanted to just flash this one because we've talked about this a little bit, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So this was as of yesterday at 8 a.m. These numbers could be completely different by now. But as of yesterday, so I guess this would be technically as of Wednesday based on where the tweet was put out. There were 10.5 players that had entered the portal, and 6 and some change, were still active and looking. And this goes back to like a greater point that I think we've touched on a little bit about guys going in and jumping without a plan, right? And they're going in on a promise from an agent or like a hypothetical scenario that they can make more money or whatever. And they don't, and then they get in there and they're kind of stuck. And once it kind of dries up with some of the high end talent, I think the schools aren't really like thoroughly evaluating who their third string tight end is going to be. And, like so guys are a little bit lost in the shuffle on that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And did they mention how many actual spots there are still available? I haven't seen anything with that, and I don't. It's quite hard, but
yeah, I don't think so. I mean, you could probably run some back of the napkin math on this and figure out, like how many D1, teams there are that, lost X amount of players, and like. But the thing about it too that's really interesting is like there are so many guys that came up and they wanted to go up a level. And there's so many guys that are here that are look like it's becoming this influx where there's too many people to get on the train. And so it's like, you're going to have to now walk or go down a level. And a lot of guys don't want to do that. So it's tough. It's
bad advice.
That's purgatory. If you want to use that word.
Jeez, that might be hell actually. So yeah,
it's very fair.
Yeah, it might be right as you go from up here, one of these top programs, and and again, some might not even play again, right? Like at this point. So, and that's what I mean by hell. Like some of them might not touch the field again. So, absolutely. So, yeah, I saw this. So, yeah, Miles and I think it was maybe we were texting about it last night or yesterday. I don't remember when it was. But yeah, transfer portal losers. Colorado was ranked first, and this is Yahoo, correct?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they put it out. Or Nick Bromberg looks like it's his list.
Well, how did you feel about this initially?
So one, it did what it was intended to do, which was like drive clicks to this. Like in some capacity, you put Colorado on the list and on one of the two, and it's going to drive attention to it. I think putting him on the losers, with the Jordan Seaton stuff, and like time will tell, right? Time will tell how this all ends up working out, and we'll find, a lot of information on essentially how this exodus versus revamp of the roster, comes out. I don't know if I would consider them like a loser yet. I also just think that like with it not even closed, how can we be picking winners and losers? Like it feels a little bit premature.
Yep, I'm with you there. It's just way too early. Like even we talked about on Monday, like what's your grade? I was like, I don't have one. Like, and I think I'm starting to get one, but again, we still don't know where we're at. And then there's still possibilities of grad transfers as well. So it is, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't close, with the portal or anything, like some of those guys will be added during the summer. Right. So I don't know. I don't even know where to start with this thing. So
I will say, if it's a list to be on, I don't have any quarrels about being on a list with Utah, Alabama, and Tennessee. So
cool. That's just, oh yeah. I don't know. It is probably just, clickbait and whatever it is just to draw some attention to it. So, well, and I know, let's jump into the next one, Miles.
Yeah, absolutely. This kind of stays on a similar thread. And I want to pin this comment really quick here from Ben's Been Dead. They're gonna regret when the season starts. Our boys are gonna be ready. They're gonna be ready to rock and roll. And I feel confident about the team, and I feel confident in just the direction that we're heading. But I think that Prime's gonna get them ready. So I think that's important. But back to the part at hand. This came out from Folsom Frenzy Pod. So this was on the 12th of this week, so a little bit earlier in the week. But Buster at 72 out of 105 possible slots. They should be trying to get closer to that 105 number. I kind of want to get your take on Manny on this. They've never hit that full number, in the Prime era, which is, I don't know if you have thoughts on that. But
I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. I struggle with that too. I don't know the reason for it. I would like to understand more of the reasoning and, try to play the other side. Like, okay, well, maybe they know this or that, but like last year they were hit with so many injuries that why wouldn't you this year want to fill 105 roster spots? Like, why wouldn't you want to do that? Right. Like cut into the 105. And again, I don't know if it's more of a, less is more kind of thing. Instead of just filling out a roster, because again, not every player is going to get paid, right? Like, and that's the reality of it, right? Like, a scholarship is for some players, a full ride scholarship is enough, right? Like, and it should be, right? But at the same time, like, I feel like they should try to fill the whole roster. I mean, I don't know where you stand on this.
Well, the other part I want to acknowledge is just Brian down here, a little bit of a correction, right? So there's really only 85 scholarship spots. So, and when this was put out in between then and now, we had added 3 players that into the committee. So I've heard that we have about 10 left to fill in terms of scholarships. And then they had injury issues, like that's the thing that I think is important to remember in all of this is that like we had a lot of a very depleted roster, a lot of injuries last season that I want to keep the overall, just keep it, locked and loaded with high level talent to the best of our ability. Yep. And I know that they're working to do that as well.
Yep, absolutely. And this black is messing with me. There we go. There's our gold. So I wanted to get our gold, our CU gold up there. So that was
Let's
just like,
go.
yeah, it looked like they were running through on the bottom right there. So I was struggling with that.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll see. And then Quentin Gibson, I love this.
Yep.
Named as a freshman All-American return specialist. And I know that during the season, you and I had this conversation. Yeah, it was, well, how many kick returns did he actually have? Oh, right. And he had the most, right, Miles?
Yeah, he I think it was by game 10 or 11, he had the most return yards in the country, which, as you allude to, is like, if you really double click into that and you read it a little bit, you're like, well, why is he getting a lot of kickoffs? Like, why is he returning the ball so much? Good for Quentin. We love Quentin.
Yep.
It'd be interesting to see, between him, Boo, and Quanell, I think primarily, who ends up, maybe some of the other guys. I don't know if they have, like Cam Perry. I don't know if he has return ability, but it'd be interesting to see who ends up getting a bulk load of the returns next season.
Yep, and I love him. I thought Q was so stinking close to getting a couple kickoff returns, like shoestring tackles, arm tackles. Like, he's gonna break one.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of time. And then once he breaks that first one, it's it's gonna be dangerous to kick to him.
1,000%. One thing I want to pin this comment here real quick, going back to like the roster thing. There is still guys in the playoffs. They get, I'm pretty sure, an extra 5 days after the completion of the CFP to hop in and evaluate their options. So you'll probably get some Indiana. I don't know if guys at Indiana want to leave Indiana right now, but you'll still have a couple other guys and then some grads that will be in that 10K litter that are kind of waiting around.
And Indiana's kind of old, right? Like I was looking at their team. So I don't know how many can actually enter from there, but there are a handful of them. But I know it's going to be interesting to see about Miami, and again, what they're going to do once that time hits, because Miami has money. So how many of these guys are going to leave or stay, or are these two teams going to be affected? But yeah, they have 5 days after, and it's just I agree, something to keep an eye on.
Sure, absolutely.
So let's jump into our transfer portal. So our new Colorado signees. Let's see, we're caught up on comments. Yep, cool. Here's history.
It's my favorite part of the show right here.
The transfer portal. I know the recruiting is always the best part, right?
Yeah.
Yep. You play? Hey, do you play college football?
On PlayStation?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I live and die by that game.
All right. So is the game more fun or the recruiting?
Ooh, that's such a good question. Like, I do think that that's a really good question. The game, to me, stagnates after a while. And it's like, there is some fun in the rebuilding, like a really bad program. But then once you kind of get to that top, it's like, all right, well, what am I going to do? It is pretty repetitive, and the game style is very similar. I think the recruiting and the building from a 1-star program up, that's the fun part to me. But there's also a lot of games in the season. It takes a while.
Yeah, no, I don't really even play the game. I just do the recruiting. So I absolutely love recruiting. And we've spoken this, just like, oh, I know this guy from this high school. Just absolutely love high school football recruiting. So yeah, that's my favorite part of the game. So just curious. Yeah. Totally. But let's jump into this. So the big domino fell. It was Tuesday night, right? Or Tuesday?
I think it was it was Tuesday day, like right around midday.
Yep. Wide receiver DeAndre Moore Jr., Texas, 6 foot, 192. Tell us a little bit about it, Miles.
Yeah, I mean, this was what I referred to as the big fish when I was talking about it on Twitter. But a versatile, speed-driven wide receiver who, was a high 4-star coming out of St. John Bosco in high school. He was a real key playmaker in the Longhorns offense. Showed some quickness to create that separation. He's got really reliable hands. And then the ability to line up on both the outside and in the slot. He's got experience over his couple years at Texas. He was one of the most productive targets in the SEC, and then his route running instincts and playmaking is just off the charts. So really excited about this one.
Yeah. Yep, I am too. That is one of the big fish. I mean, man, and it is just, you start thinking more and you forget about the Quanell Farrakhan's, you forget about the Quentin Gibsons, right? Like Hakeem Williams, former 5-star. Like you forget about this, and then the receivers that they added, right? And you're kind of like, holy shit, like they have a loaded wide receiver room, right? And that's the part that is very overlooked this offseason, I think, is the weapons that are around Juju now.
Yeah, and I maybe I missed it in case you didn't mention it, but like Joseph Williams too. Like that's that's this guy's favorite receiver. My guess, returning. But yeah, you're loading Juju up with a bunch of versatile weapons on the outside, and I do think that we've seen a little bit of a trend of like a lot of slot receivers coming in. These guys that have played a lot of slot. I think DeAndre Moore, Joseph Williams, they can be a little bit more on the outside, and it's going to be a highly potent offense, both on the ground and through the air.
Yeah, and see, and that's why it's like you forget about, and I forgot about Joseph Williams. So
yeah,
right, the Juju to JoJo connection, right?
Yeah, absolutely,
exactly what we're talking about.
Just for my numbers, people, really quick. So DeAndre Moore last season graded at a 71.7 overall. He had a 73.3 as a pass threat. 52.6 when in run blocking scenarios. Improved in all 3 years at Texas, started out as a 53.4 and worked his way up to just over a 71. So guy who keeps getting better every single year.
Yep. I'm thrilled for him. I'm like really excited about that one. And I know that I've been talking about this. And so the next guy. So I'm really sure, Miles, that I am in my older age, right? That I just get so excited about like offensive linemen, the defensive line, offensive line, and linebackers for some reason. Demetrius Hunter, center, Houston, 6'2", 310. Like, yeah, when this came, I think I even texted you in the middle of the day, dude, Hunter. Yeah, we got Hunter. Like, I was so pumped up because it, and I think as you get older again, like I'm going to continue saying this. So I am sorry to all of you there that have to keep listening to this, but man, you build those trenches right, you're going to win a lot of football games,
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the things that's really, one, legendary last name in Colorado. So we gotta remember that. I love his nickname. If I remember correctly, his nickname is Pancake, which is amazing. We saw a little bit from him. If I remember correctly, he was the starting center at Houston when we went to Houston and got obliterated. But I mean, overall, tough physical center who, started consistently for Houston. He earned his praise for his run block power, his dependable snap consistency, and then that's his pass protection throughout his 2-year starting run. He plays with leverage. He's got that competitive nastiness, and then, low penalty discipline, which is really important at the center position. So he anchored Houston's interior front. I know that they were a pretty versatile, option-heavy offense, so that's going to be interesting to see if that was a priority for them in this Marion offense, to get a guy that could just be a little bit more in tune with running QB option.
Yep, and I like it too, because now we're kind of the 6'2", 310, right? Like our linemen are getting a little bit skinnier, right? A little bit more light-footed, right? And just like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, was zone blocking scheme, right? Because a lot of it's Marion runs a lot of it, right? Correct me if I'm wrong with the go-go.
No, spot on.
And now, kind of like what you were just alluding to, though, is let's look at this zone blocking scheme, because if you can run a zone blocking scheme, though, it is extremely difficult because there's really no lane there. There's no, you're not running through the the 3-hole, the 4. It's like aim for the B gap, right? You're aiming for the right B gap. We're going to aim there.
Yeah.
But there's cutback lanes everywhere. So it is it requires a back with really good vision, but it requires your lineman to be able to move. So Demetrius Hunter is a perfect fit for that, in my opinion. Yeah,
and Coach Gunner is going to have his work cut out for him. Andre Gerard's going to have his work cut out for him. These guys they got a job to do, and to make sure that their linemen are ready. We can't be undisciplined in this offense, or it is not going to work. One thing I want to pin this comment right here: how is Coach Marion going to feed all the talented wide receivers when his scheme of 4 wides will probably see a 50-50 split between run pass? How do you feel about that? I think that's a pretty
good problem.
It's a good problem to have. I was gonna say it's a good question.
Yeah, it's a great question, but it is a good problem to have. And what I always say is that these are good problems. Like, oh man, like what do we do at running back? Like we have too many of them. It's not a problem, right? It's a good problem to have. It's a good situation to be in. If you have so many wide receivers, your receivers are going to be fresh, right? So again, we look at these things over and over. You run that 9 route, right? That go ball.
Yeah.
And then they come off the field to get a blow, that receiver typically, and okay, the deep threat's gone. And that might not be the case this year, right? You have multiple players that do a lot of different things, and sometimes even the same thing. So I don't Yeah, I think it's a great problem.
Yeah, and I think that the other part of that too that's important is, we have a lot of guys that are what I would consider to be like yards after catch monsters, like guys that they can catch the ball, make plays, really in open space. It's like they might get a limited number of passes from Juju, but it's what they do with the passes that's going to matter. And we got a lot of guys that are going to explode when they get a chance in the open field. This isn't going to be a like slants across the middle, get 8 yards, and then you do run in 15 different passes on the same play. Like they're going to have to make the most of their limited touches. But if Coach Marion's offense has proven anything, he brings in guys that are likely to do that.
And I know real quick too, the 50-50 between run and pass, that is what you want though as well.
Totally.
As a play caller, as a team, you want to be able to run the football. Like, what is it? I think in the NFL, it's like 30 runs, 30 passes, what you're shooting for. And there's like your percentage of winning goes up. Like, I almost want to say like to 70% if you achieve that in a game. I don't want to say what it looks like in college, but I would, ball control, your defense is on the side, the other team can't score. There's so many different things. And then you set up play action at that point. So yeah. I am, I really hope this happens. So
yeah. And just pinning this from Cam too, you can line up wide receivers in the backfield. Like there are so many options in this offense. And I think with some of the hires that have been made, there's going to be a lot of versatility, and the whole, like, we do the same thing over and over again every series is done. That's a world of the past. And so expect a lot of fun, creative packages and some, trickery in there as well, which can be really interesting.
Yep. It's all, this is going to be a fun season. I'm so excited. Coach Marion's here. So
totally. Awesome. You want to move on down the list? I realize we haven't read the numbers. That was commit number 33 and Moore, and then 34 in Hunter too. So just for people's keeping track.
Yep. 35. So safety Jaden Hardy, Oklahoma, 5'10", 180. So this kid, tough, instinctive safety, DB who came to the University of Oklahoma as a 4-star recruit out of Lewisville, Texas. Earning early playing time thanks to his versatility, right? Very versatile players. We talked about ball hawking ability, which Colorado needs, right? They need to be able to take the ball away this year, and special teams contributions. And again, how many of these can't overstate it? Special teams is so important. Like, special teams has to be special every game to win, and it gives you a chance. And that is one of those things that gets overlooked a lot, but special teams have to be special. So shows good play recognition, ability to make splash plays, with interceptions, forced fumbles, while seeing rotational defensive snaps. He's now transferring with multiple years of eligibility remaining to find an expanded role. Miles, what do you think his future looks like here with the Buffs?
Yeah, it's one of the things we talked about on Monday was with our kind of like wish list of where they go moving forward was safety depth. And I think that this is a really good young addition. He's got some experience in the SEC, which is great. Prototypical size, a little small, played mostly free safety in kind of rotation minutes at Oklahoma. His grades were okay. He was a 58.5 overall with a roughly 60 in coverage. He's seen like limited action, I guess you could say, in his 2 years at Oklahoma, but I think he's somebody that's looking for an opportunity, maybe in the Big 12 that, could get him more concrete playing time. He's one of those guys that I'm like, I think the upside is there, and I think it doesn't hurt to take a chance on him.
Yep, I like it too, because again, if you can keep him in the program, you build that out. 4-star recruit again, and it, playing big time high school football in Texas, like, that's everything you want, and hopefully they can develop, and hopefully he sticks around.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to pin this comment here because it came up before. Nobody knows what this season will be. I 100% agree. I think Manny and I both said this. We kind of alluded to it on Monday when we asked like what the prediction would be. We don't know. Nobody knows. All you can do is hope, and you can trust in the coaching staff. And then at the same time, I think it's going to be an interesting season. Nonetheless, and interesting is a lot more fun than the repetitive, stale nature that we had last season. So that's my piece on the matter.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I'm gonna wait for. You're probably not gonna get a prediction out of me, again till the week before we start. So just as a whole, maybe me and Miles will probably have that conversation, but you got to give me I probably won't until the last game before the season kicks, or the last week before the season kicks off. So I want to evaluate it all. I jumped the gun last year, so
we're gonna have to vet it out before we put it live so that nobody comes back to clip us on it.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. Like our bad, So
yeah,
tell us about the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. This guy came in today. Number 36, center Sean Kinney, I think is the correct pronunciation, from Lafayette College. 6'2", 305, physically stout interior offensive lineman who stepped up in the Leopards offensive front as a freshman. Started across guard and center, showing toughness, versatility, and then the ability to anchor blocks in both the run game and pass sets early. He earned a freshman All-America recognition for his impact after starting multiple games on the line, demonstrating a competitive, reliable presence and positional flexibility. So a guy that's coming up a level. At first, when I read this, I thought it was University of Louisiana Lafayette, but Lafayette College. The thing that I know about Sean is he graded exceptionally well for the level that he was at. 72.2 overall, and then 81.5 in pass block and a 68.5 in run block. So guy who's looking for a new opportunity at the next level. What are your thoughts?
No, I like it. I'm curious to see where this happens. And again, this diving into the FCS, I like that, though. These kids are hungry. They want it. They get after it. And so many times we see time and time over again, when you're watching the NFL draft, right? Like, this kid came from a 0-star recruit. You hear it so much, and it almost feels like you're hearing it more often now than before. Like, how are we still missing these kind of players? So I'm really excited to see. And again, this is as a freshman, right? All-American recognition. So that is – and versatility as well with multiple spots. So I've
seen this pinned people have commented this a couple of times that evidently he's a wrestler, which is awesome. That is so great. If I remember correctly, I think Chidozie was a wrestler. He had some wrestling background, maybe.
Oh, was it?
I think so. Or I think if I remember correctly.
Which Chidozie are we talking about?
Nwankwo.
Okay. I was thinking Awuzie from.
Oh, no. Yeah. No, not going that far back.
One. Yeah, he wrestled.
Yeah, absolutely not. But yeah, great point here. He understands leverage. And one thing too, I want to read this quickly. This is an excerpt that Brian Howell had tweeted out in reference to something his head coach at Lafayette had said about him, which I think just paints a picture of who this person is. But he said, quote, "Obviously I'm biased because he's here, but I truly believe he's the best center in the league, hands down. He's physical, he's athletic, and can move, get to the second level of the defense. You can see that his wrestling career, as everybody's alluded to, has helped him become a great football player because of his leverage and strength. I can't say enough about him. I really believe that at the end of this, he'll have a chance to go and play at the next level." And then the secondary quote after that, "That's because he works hard every day. There's just nothing bad you can say about him. He's the type of kid you want in your program."
Like, I mean, I don't think there's not much more to say after that.
Yeah. Right? Like it speaks for itself. And that's, that's two centers that they've brought in. And so I think this is not a report, but I think it's safe to close the door on the Zarian McGill getting another year type of thing. But I think you have two solid experienced centers that they brought in that will be able to compete for that starting job.
One is a freshman, with Kenny. I did see something about, I can't remember what it was, Zarian McGill, about something with the NFL draft today. Did you?
I didn't see it. I think somebody had tweeted at him asking him, and I think he said he was still waiting a final decision. But
okay.
I
saw something. I'm not declaring anything like that, but more so starting that conversation a little bit. So
sure.
Again, I don't quote me on that, anybody. I can't remember what it said though. So let's see this, and then we had recent offers, right? Visits. So Maz, I'm gonna let you run with this one.
Yeah, this is a fun one. So I had a couple of offers come out, and I want everybody to remember too, we've said this a couple of times, but not every offer is public. You're not always going to find it on 247. You're not always going to find it on X. So I'm just kind of going with a couple of the ones that I found here. But Colorado offered in the portal redshirt sophomore from ULM 6'4", 320K Tank McBroom. I'm going to go ahead and share that just to show the offer notice. Tank McBroom, 3 stars out of high school, not ranked in the portal. Let me see. I think I have his numbers here as well. In 12 games played at UL Monroe. He was a 54.7 overall, 68.3 in pass block and 53.1 in run block. Played primarily left tackle, which is part of why I wanted to bring this one up. You can see my little tweet down there with the buffalo emojis too. But what are your thoughts?
Yep. Yeah, no, I like it. And again, like you said, everything's not going to be public. There's not every, recruit's going to be like, hey, we signed this 247's not reporting on it, on three's not reporting on it. But again, like we talked about, you never know. Like I'm so fascinated, with these, the smaller schools now. Like and again, what is driving that? It kind of picked up last year with Cam Ward. And then now, I'm a huge NFL guy as well. But just watching the draft, and it's like, how are so many of these guys going missing? And again, this is, ULM, but it's still not your Power 4 conference school. So I'm just really, really interested in this. And these are the kind of guys that I want to start following and seeing, the attributes, everything that made them special that were missed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And I think too, the other part I want to mention with this is just because a guy is not ranked in the portal does actually not mean anything. There are actually multiple guys, I'm pretty sure in Colorado, who are still actively not ranked. It just means that whoever is running that board 247 on 3, they just haven't gotten around to it, or they're just not prioritizing it. So it doesn't mean he's 0 stars. It just means he's just hasn't been ranked yet. Just want to make sure we put that out there.
Yep. Nope. Cool. I like that.
Next on the list, we got a couple of high school guys who've gotten offers recently, as far out as 2028, which is really interesting. First one I'm going to show here is Carl Javar Noset. 2028 kid. He is a 3-star center, 6'3", 275. Obviously listing a couple of the Colorado coaches on there, but you got any thoughts on Javar?
I haven't been able to watch him, but I like, the size right now, because that makes him a sophomore, right?
Yes.
In high school. Yep. Yeah, that's great size for a kid. And then you're offering a center in 28 that is starting and, at the high school level. And it seems like, pretty dominant enough for Colorado to like him. And a 3-star at this point. And again, you're not going to see many 5 stars, even 4 stars that far out, 2 years ahead. And for him to already have a 3-star, you're probably looking before, I would say, the end of this. Just my, loving the high school football recruiting is this kid will probably end up a 4 or 5-star before it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Just based off of what we see here.
Yep, totally. Based on the tweet and who he tagged, I'm assuming this is a kid from Georgia. Not sure if there's any connections or relationships there, but we'll see. Just a guy to have to follow. And one of the only things that I think is interesting about this is, like, I always like double click a little bit on like the picture that they choose from the offer. Like, like, is it a Shador picture? Is it a Travis picture? Is it a Coach Brian picture? Is it a Ralphie picture? Like, and it's just so interesting to me to see what they select in that.
Yeah. No, I see. Yeah, I guess I never really thought too much about it, but yeah. I mean,
I'm just a graphic. I'm a graphics guy, so I think about that stuff.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Moving down the list, I'm going to butcher this one, so just bear with me. I'm going to guess it is Jules Batiste.
That's right.
Sounds about right. All right, we've got a 2027 kid. We got a 3-star edge, 6'5", 230. Coming out of Louisiana, if I remember correctly. Again, so this is for my graphic people. We've got a CU logo and a tackle there from BJ Green. But yeah, any thoughts on Jules?
No, again, didn't watch it, but I love BJ Green. I love that one on Avery Johnson. Yeah, I was at this game actually. So
see, that's where I'm like, did he have to look that up? Did he specifically look up like a BJ Green tackle, or is it just like, does that show up when he looks up Colorado football? Like, that's the part that I'm curious about.
I love the helmets, right? The gold face mask and
it
just looks cool with the gloss black helmets. Like, that is really cool. I don't know, but this is a really cool picture. So now that you got me, now I'm kind of going to get stuck in that.
Now everybody that's in this channel, in this chat right now, is going to start like hyper fixating on the pictures that they posted.
I can't get past that now. But again, 3-star edge, pass rusher, right? So edge, right? You connect that with BJ Green, same position.
Sure. Yeah.
Edge.
Very fair.
But I love, again, 6'5", 230. So he is a junior, so he'll be going into his senior year this next year. Just something to keep an eye on. And again, just based off of he'll probably end up at a 4-star, right? Because they start bumping him a little bit. So this kid will end up at his 4-star. And again, the earlier the contacts made, the better. So again, just another kid to keep an eye on as well.
Yep, absolutely. Moving on down the list here, we got this is a fun one. We got Cam Newton. Cam Newton is coming to Boulder. Hopefully coming to Boulder, not for sure. Cam Newton, 3-star running back, a 2026 kid. This is a really interesting one. I want to read you a couple of stats from this. In his career, in high school, 5,022 yards on the ground, 82 rushing touchdowns. That is, I'm pretty sure, roughly 20 touchdowns a season.
Where's he from? I don't know.
Honestly, I actually don't have that off the top of my head. I would have to double check that. But I think he's a Texas kid. If I remember,
Texas.
Yeah. I don't know what level of Texas football, but a baller nonetheless. And I'm pretty sure he lists himself, as you can see at the top there, as a 3-star. I'm pretty sure he's not ranked. He might have had like a 3-star ranking from someone, but someone who's clearly fallen under the radar, kind of like you've talked about a couple of times. Walnut Grove, 5'9", 185. Yeah, per 247 does not have a ranking at the moment. So.
And it says, so I'm just on his Twitter page right now. So click his the profile.
Yep.
And it says 3.7 GPA, 5A district MVP, and Army All-American MVP.
Yeah. I'm looking at here, right? So you got that. There's the 82 rushing touchdowns, 5,022 rushing yards, 65 receptions, and 757 receiving yards. So 91 total touchdowns and a hair under 6,000 total yards. But
what is going on? Why hasn't he signed anywhere? Because
I don't know, but I just hope he signs in Boulder. That's my only key. Yeah, that's a guy that's exciting.
That could be a good. Out, so.
And shout out, I want to give a shout out here. This chat right here was left in our channel when this show got scheduled 4 days ago. So whoever this was at 1:04 a.m. in the morning was on the scoop. So we'll get to Simeon Price at some point, but shout out to you because you keep up with this stuff.
This is like, I'm gonna have to go figure out this. I'm gonna go figure this out. So this is gonna bother me. So Miles, you're probably going to be getting some text from me later on, maybe later than it should be. But yeah, I'm going to go figure this out because I don't even know how I missed this, to be honest with you. This is crazy. And Humble Texan says, I think that's East Texas. So where he's from, which is, what did we say again? Prosper, Texas. Okay. Yeah. That just is 20 D1 offers. Stats. It says, I'm just kind of, maybe he just wants to be a buff, man. Maybe.
Well, he's in Boulder this weekend. So he's here for an official visit. I don't know the whole background of him. I mean, like if I look at his 247 page, he'd been offered by Air Force, Army, Richmond, Rhode Island, Yale, Sam Houston, like not a lot of big offers. So clearly an under the radar guy who could come in and just be a baller.
Yeah, look, and it says here, meet the high school. So I just scroll down, high school on SI. That's him, Cam Newton, All-American MVP running back.
Great name too. I just like that alone is enough to get an offer from me.
Yeah, I love Cam Newton, so I'm not good. I loved watching him play. So I got to go figure some things out on that. So I'm kind of in a.
I stumped you on that one, huh?
Yeah. I don't know who that is.
Cool. So. Well, while you think about that, we'll move on to the next one. We got I think this is a 2027 kid, Mason McClure, I hope. An unranked wide receiver, 5'11", 185. Got an offer 2 days ago out of Spain Park. And I think that is also a Texas play. I don't know, but initial thoughts.
Yeah,
that's Alabama. He's from Hoover, Alabama.
Hoover, Alabama, right?
Spain Park.
What does it say?
Spain Park.
Huh. But his profile says Hoover. I don't know much about this kid, so we could just start. It doesn't matter.
We're stumping Manny on the Friday show. We got him baffled.
Yeah, I know. I should have. Yeah, Spain Park football. Yeah, I see what you mean. I don't know much about him, but again, we look 5'10", 185, class of 2027, and I think you had his stats. So he had. Do we have any stats on him?
I don't have any stats on him.
Okay.
I do have his offer list. It looks like I've seen Morehouse College, UT Martin, Tennessee State, and Kennesaw State. So again, not a lot of big offers. I have to imagine, even if he's not tagged directly, that this is a lot of Coach Marion type of stuff where he's like picking his guys, he's figuring out the unranked guys and the guys that aren't being seen. And he thinks that they would, they're ballers and they'll fit his system. So best of luck to Mason. We hope that he wants to be a buff.
Yep. Awesome. And then you had some, who are visits this?
Oh yeah. Got some fun visits. Okay. So a couple people in the chat that have talked about this and they've been asking about this. And again, we don't know every visit. We got Manny all twisted up. Yeah. He's,
I'm snubbed right now.
You can't believe he missed it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. My bad.
Rodney asked us before, who we want them to get, who's left in the portal. We'll get to that later in the show, but a couple of guys that we have confirmed we know are going to be visiting and on campus. First one is Indiana defensive back Jaja Boyd. This is let me get the pickup there. So Jaja Boyd posted 8 tackles last season as a redshirt freshman at Indiana, 5'11", 173. Interestingly enough, I guess his full name is Ja Boyd. But in 6 games played at Indiana, graded, and then just take this at face value. He only played 47 snaps, but a 91.1 overall with an 85.4 tackling grade. And an 89.7 coverage grade.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Yeah. 47 snaps. So again, just take it at face value there.
Yeah. I like it for depth. And again, I think these are one of these dudes, Miles, that are here for development, right? And what better place and what better person to learn from than, greatest corner ever.
Yeah. And he's on campus from what I've heard. He's there. He is locked in, ready to go. And anybody from Indiana is a guy that I want, admittedly. And then moving down the list too, another defensive player that's going to be visiting here in the next couple of days. We've got Lamar cornerback, Paul Omadia. That's my best guess.
I heard he's here today. That was my understanding today. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Visiting Colorado today. Yep. 6'2", 197 defensive back, all conference pick at Lamar. Posted 57 tackles, 13 PBUs, and 2 TFLs. I'll get the grades here in a second, but what are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, love it. This is kind of one that I've known about for a little bit. Didn't know if it would come to fruition or not. But this is one that I hope that they get it done. From what it sounds like, it will get done, and get ready to get rolling here and start the off-season program with the Buffs. But this is, again, I just love these kids from these smaller universities like this because they have everything to play for. They have, 6'2", 197, that fits that Coach Prime mold of what he wants from his corners, right? And you look at the production there, right? 57 tackles, 13 PBUs, and 2 TFLs, right? So, you got somebody that's, you have somebody that's ready to play. And from my understanding is, he should get done.
Yeah. Good frame, good body size. He started in 12 games at Lamar. He played 747 total snaps, graded as a 73.8 overall. This is the number I really am excited about. 87.2 tackling grade.
Yep.
That's one of the highest tackling grades of somebody who's played more than 100 snaps that I have seen in all of my PFF evaluations here. So,
and that's a corner.
That's a corner. Yeah. And our corners were rough at tackling. So a guy that's got proven production, grades out super well. He also was a 71.5 in coverage and 80.4 in run defense too. So overall, just good grades here. This is a guy that I hope that they don't let, walk out with a signature and really can bolster that cornerback depth.
Yep. And I wouldn't even be shocked here if he signs here in the next, if he's shocked
if it happens live, let us know.
Yeah.
Please let us know.
Absolutely. So let's, let's jump into Jordan Seaton.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's jump into that because I know that you had some initial thoughts when this first happened. Where are you at Where are you at now? Or kind of summarize where you were at the other
They've
night.
heard my thoughts. I want to give you the chance, actually, not to toss it back to you, but they got a 15-minute video from me talking about it right when it happened. And I'll give you a teaser before I let you go here. My feelings have definitely changed.
Yeah.
But you go right ahead. You give me your initial thoughts, and then we'll dive in further.
Yeah. Big blow to the offense. Initially, right, you start thinking about some things, and then, I don't want to sound like the probably a bad rep, but the upset ex-girlfriend right now. But I started going through, right? It was a big blow initially where I was like, man, this sucks. And then we start kind of thinking, right? The pass blocking was elite, no question about it, right? But then we start thinking about the run blocking a little bit. Seat struggled there, right?
Mm-hmm.
He struggled. It wasn't like, he's okay there. There was a struggle for Jordan Seaton to run block, right? And so I thought that would get better this year, and it kind of, right from his freshman year, it kind of just stood level, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, and you do have a question there to some extent about like how much of that is scheme, how much of that is play design, like things like that, but continue.
I mean, it can be, but again, getting beat though, there's no excuse for somebody like Jordan Seaton to get beat anywhere. And then where I got pretty upset this year, where I was like, well, maybe and this was against Utah Miles. That's the Miles game.
Yeah, that's the Miles game. Miles High Bus game.
I think that's
my legacy game.
Yeah, that's your legacy game. That's the Miles game. Like, yeah, made us all proud up there or whatever it may be. But when he was there, that game, man, they were blitzing at him and he didn't know he was confused, right? Yeah. And again, I know it comes with time, but that kind of was a little bit of a, hey, here's the weakness in Jordan Seaton in his pass blocking. Yeah. And it kind of makes you wonder, right? Because then he played, how many more games did he play after that one against Arizona State? And that was that.
Yeah, he got injured in, I think so. It was either 1 or 2 games after that is the game that he got injured and then either didn't play or he got pulled out after a couple of snaps.
Because it was on film, and at that point I was kind of like, I wonder what's going on here. And then, no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and this is just going back to the Miles High Buffs game in Utah, my legacy game. That's I'm always going to remember that.
We said that in the intro.
Yes. This is something I've never talked about, and I've very selectively held off from talking about for a while. Not long after that video of me and the fans and all that, the Ryan Staub touchdown, all that stuff happened. Like we migrated down towards the end of the bench to like show the team love and like and all this stuff and make sure that they knew we were there. The energy was terrible, as you can imagine. Like the sideline was people yelling at each other and everyone's heads down, all this stuff. This isn't anything about Jordan in particular, but like you could tell if you just looked at him, you could tell that he was very frustrated. There's a video that's circulated too from one of the earlier games in the season. I think it was at the Houston game, and he like goes and slams his helmet down and sits down by himself and doesn't talk to anyone. Like this was clearly a brewing thing for him that the season just wore on him. And there's been a lot of speculation about his injury and Prime said he could have come back and they didn't expect it to be a long-term injury. And then suddenly he's out for the season. And I don't love to be like a huge call somebody out type of guy, but Juju had time when he was back there, and his average time to throw was actually higher than Caden's, interestingly enough, without Jordan on his left side. I think they had Kareem Harden playing left tackle, if I remember correctly, around that. So we'll see. It'd be really interesting to see who fills his shoes. But yeah, I think that this was brewing for him behind the scenes for a bit.
And, I do know that they thought they had him locked up, ready to go for the next season. And the other day happened. Like, I was shocked by it. I knew something, earlier, right? And again, you know what I'm referencing is there was talk of him leaving, and then they locked it up. They got everything squared away, and then he re-enters. And again, it's kind of, well, what happened in between there, right? And it just none of this feels good, right? None of it felt good. It was this is just not the way you leave a program, regardless of who you are.
Yeah, and we'll run through the whole recap of how it went down, and I kind of want to a little bit. And guys, if you're here in the chat, like, tell us how you're feeling. I tweeted this out. We want to hear from you. We want you to vent with us. We want you to express your thoughts. And like, if you're like, we're good, you know, we moved on, like, tell us. We want to hear how you feel about this. But yeah, I mean, the big thing, you can go back and look at it. Like I tweeted out a lock emoji when I heard that he had said that he was locked in. Like, this has been widely circulated at this point, is that he acknowledged to the team that he was locked in and he was feeling excited about the things that were going to happen in the portal. 14 days or 12 days goes by, something changes. We can talk about tampering. We can talk about some of the things that he's been doing in the portal and all that interesting stuff. But something changed for a guy that's been, you know, talking a big game about coming to Boulder, being a dog, all that stuff. Something happened.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, and it makes sense, right? It makes sense though now with Bo Hughley when they signed him, the Georgia tackle.
I've heard it's like Hughley.
Hughley. See, I was going to say that.
So somebody else was saying it was Hughley, and for some reason I always thought that was Hughley. I just thought that was the pronunciation.
I had a student named Hugh, and it was Hugh. So I don't know, but when I saw that, I think I even texted you. That's probably why they signed Bo.
Yeah,
right, or whatever
very possible.
Maybe. Very possible, but sorry guys, I'm recovering from a cold. So I'm on a, what's the right word? Just, this whole thing, how it went down. And so my thoughts right now, when I first seen it, I was like, what the hell, right? Like pissed off and this and that. And then the next day, things started to slowly come out. Miles, you and I were texting about it. I think we text like 100 times a day. It feels like now at this point.
Yeah. Well,
we were going.
I was going to say, I called you immediately, and I was like, Manny, we got to get on. Come on, we have to do live. I got kids. I got a family. And I
got it. Yep. So I was like, just take it, man. Just take it. So, but I just am very, I guess at the time I was upset. I was like, God, what are they going to do at left tackle? And then I started going back to this thing is a left tackle is extremely important, right? But it is way more important in the NFL, right? And I think you have to differentiate between the two, if that makes sense. Like, yes, you need a good left tackle. It does not hurt in any way to have the best left tackle in the country, right? Like, please do not hear what I'm saying here. If you have a good left tackle, like a good to solid left tackle in college, you're going to do okay. Like, it's not the end of the world. If you have just a solid to mediocre, left tackle in the NFL, you're going to get killed because those pass rushers are so fast, right? So I think it's important to differentiate between the two there. So I started kind of running through that process. Like, for sure, they have to have a what do you want to go, a plan there in place. And it seems like they do. And I don't know what the plan is. I know there's somebody, I don't know who that somebody is.
Yeah. I've heard some rumblings. Out of the respect for the people that I talk to, I'm not going to share anything. They have targets. They have people that they are working on. They feel good about it. That's the maximum I'm willing to report. I wanted to just say a shout out to this guy, first time tuning in. Thank you guys so much. If anybody else is here for the first time, locking in with us on this Friday night, let us know. We really appreciate you guys being here, and happy Friday, happy early, weekend to you all. But I want to give and if it's good with you, Manny, I want to give a rundown here of kind of the timeline.
Yeah, and let me drop where you guys are watching from too. I love to see that, where you guys are at. So would love that as well. But yeah, let's jump into that, the timeline.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the part one of this that we've already touched on is the late entry, right? So Jordan tells everyone that he's locked in. I'm getting a little echo from you, by the way, just in case. Yeah, you're good. He had a late entry. There's concern there around, like, how do you kind of screw over the team and all this stuff, and how do you do prime wrong after this whole thing has unfolded in the portal and go in so late. That's part one. Part two, this has come out. This has been widely confirmed by multiple resources, and this has been talked about extensively. The whole using the video thing. It's been confirmed by Adam, by Brian. This has been talked about. It is a real thing. Again, like the presumption that everybody was under for the last time was that Jordan was staying. And so there were videos that were created because he told them that he was staying. And so they created a graphic, as they do. They do a wonderful job. Shout out to Snelson. He's, kick ass and everything he does, and the rest of that creative media team, best in the business. And then to turn around and use that as a departure graphic. And as somebody who's worked in media and photography and all these different things that you put your hard-earned, sweat into, I can only imagine how those people felt. To the disrespect to go out there and use that as a way to leave. I don't know if he makes money off of that on his Instagram and like monetization. I have no idea how that works, but like just unbelievable. And then the last part of that too, and then I'll let you get your thoughts in here, is like the whole weird vagueness around not saying he was entering the portal. Like the whole, like, I'm leaving Boulder, and like, or he just didn't actually say it, which led the whole fan base to go buck wild on whether or not it was real. Like, just unnecessary from my perspective.
Yeah, I was just, when things started to leak out real quick, just a couple ones, Buff fans only. Gary, Indiana, Michael Jackson. Love Freddie Gibbs. So one of my favorite rappers from Gary. Glad you're tuning in. We have another one. Yes, thank you. So is it time P6053? First time watching from Hamilton, Ontario. So yeah, awesome. Thanks for tuning in. First time tuning in here. First tuning in. I'm the numbers gal, Miles Sarah. So good.
It's because I always say for all my numbers people. So I finally have Lori, the numbers gal. Cool. That's awesome.
There we go. Lori, the numbers gal. She's tuning in. So
fellow nor'easter.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. But yeah, just with this, the more that comes out, the more that I know. Part of me almost wants to stop reading about it because I start getting upset, right? Like where you're like, dude, like those are hard-earned people who put some heart and soul into that thing, right? To make that, because you're staying, but you use it as a, farewell, I'm entering the portal. Like, you don't do people like that regardless of who you are. And again, you don't want to carry that reputation with you. And now you have created a situation for yourself where the NFL draft comes along. Those are going to be questions you're going to have to answer for. And again, it doesn't have to be public, but you are going to have to answer for these at the NFL draft. Like when you start interviewing with teams, like, why did you do, you know what I mean? So you are going to, and again, whether they hold you to it or not, I don't know. Talent always wins, right? But yeah, I just don't think that's the right way to treat people.
Yeah, totally. And there's validity to this. I understand where you're coming from, Rodney. Like, I'm one of those people, when something comes up negative in my life, I'm an out of sight, out of mind. It was his decision to move on. And if he's going for the money, he's going for the money. I completely get that. I just, at the same time, I think there is importance in how you treat people and how you leave when you're on your way out. And like you said, they're going to come back. They're going to talk to Coach Prime and Seaton. The other part about it is, like, when did he become a giant Twitter user? Like, a couple of people have talked about this, and I have all these people sending me these tweets that he's sending off that are just like super cryptic and random and weird. And he's like quote tweeting Michael Irvin, who's tagging Dion, and like all this stuff that I'm just like, it just didn't need to be. Yes, exactly. We did not leave it. It's not for the fact that he left. It's how he left. I think that's the important part.
I'm with you right there. This is 110% how I feel.
Yeah. And this is the other part I want to mention was, evidently, I think his uncle is his agent. There was a lot of speculation around him going to Texas, but then there's a report that he's not going to Texas. And then he just shows up at Mississippi State out of, like, again, I'm not like mad because it's like, go do what you want. I don't really care. It's just like, I'm so confused. I'm just like so bewildered as to what's going on with all of this. That's why it's pretty interesting. He's in Miami right now.
Thought he was in Mississippi State.
Yeah, he was, and then I think he is expected to be on a visit. Apparently, LSU thinks he's coming to town tomorrow, but
what in the world? And I'm curious about this. So I texted you right before we, maybe an hour or so ago, and I was like, hey, like, is he having a hard time finding a home? right? Like finding a school, and you were just like, I'm going to save it for the show. So I'm curious what were your thoughts around that?
Yeah, and we're almost covered. I want to make sure we get it, top to bottom here for all the people.
Okay. Keep
For all
going,
the for all the people that just for all the people that are like, we need to move on from this. I just want to make sure we cover it in totality so that we can get it out of the way.
Yeah, go. Yeah, keep going then.
One of the things that was really interesting for me was when they came out immediately and they said the bidding will start at $2.5 million. I struggle, God got me the whole Prime thing where he's like, I'm trying not to I'm biting my tongue a little bit on like how absurd that is to put out publicly, because I just wonder if there are any programs out there. There's probably plenty that have unlimited funds that are going to say, we just need a left tackle and all this stuff. But for example, like in Texas, one of the first things that came out was that Texas was tampering with him. That's what people were speculating. They then go look at it, comes out immediately that it's $2.5 million is the starting price. Then they look at this Wake Forest left tackle who's experienced, who's really, strong. Who's to say that they didn't go, okay, like if Seaton's going to try and run us for every penny that we have, let's go find a left tackle at Wake Forest for $850,000. Like that's the part that I get, like just going about it so publicly and yeah, like you guys got a bid on me and all this stuff that's the part where it's just, yeah. It's so odd, and I just feel like he's handling it very poorly. Like, if you want to leave, have your agent make some calls, find yourself a spot to land, do all of this behind the scenes, and then just go. Don't make it all public. And it's the other part of that too. And I want to hear your thoughts on this. Is like starting the bidding at $2.5 million. Some people were saying that Oregon was quoting him at like 3.5. And I saw this tweet. I didn't save it for this, but that's a lot of pressure on Jordan. Like, imagine if he gets $3.5-4 million to come in. Like, he can't let up a single sack. He can't let up barely any pressures. That's a lot of pressure on him. If he gets injured, like if that injury comes back, whatever it was, oh my gosh, they're going to be at his head. Like, it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah,
God forbid, of course, not what I'm hoping for. Yeah. Nobody's hoping for that.
Yeah, and again, I can't stress enough just how he left, and now we move to this, and it's. Yeah, I don't know. And like, I didn't even think of that with Texas and the Wake Forest, left tackle. I wonder if they were just kind of like, we're just gonna,
that's what I'm thinking.
Yep, we're done. We're not dealing with this. And then, I think first round potential. I did put this up here, but ask Kawhi, right? Like, and again, that whole situation. So I'm also a Lakers fan. So just so you like, when this all went down, I remember I thought it was done with the Lakers, right? Is what it sounded like. But then Uncle gets involved, and then some teams are even like, we're not even going to try to mess with it because we don't want to deal with Uncle. Mm-hmm. And now you're kind of starting to think like, maybe it is, right? Like maybe there is something going on here, and they don't want to deal with the Uncle, right? And there's so many different things to this where it's like, how did you not? And again, part of my thing is, right, when somebody of that caliber enters the portal, and this late in the game, typically we'll put like do not contact, right?
Yeah,
do not.
Like they know where they're going.
Yep, because they know where they're going. And now it's like, and again, not taking shots at Mississippi State, none of that. But why? Like, if you ask, would you rather play in Starkville or Boulder, Miles?
And would you like? I don't know Gunner personally, but I heard a lot of things about Phil Lodeholt, and so. That in and of itself, and I tweeted out, I was like, he's got to be trolling. He's like this. There's either he really loves Phil Lodeholt for XYZ reason, which is his right to do, or they're like, it's so weird. And that's the weird, like the word I keep coming back to with all this is it is so weird. It just feels so off. And then the last part about it too is like him saying all of this and then not entering officially until 3 days later. And then it comes out that he hasn't entered, but then an hour after that, he officially does. It's just like the whole thing is so unsettling. But we wish him the best. I mean, we'll probably do a whole nother section, another video next time about like the impact on the offense and Juju and all that stuff. And even if it's worth going after these high school kids, I don't want to have us draw on for 3 hours tonight, but
yeah, because we could. Yeah. I do want to ask you this though, if you're okay with this.
Sure.
I do want to jump to, is it worth going after high school kids? And I know you and I we have a different opinion on this. So and I know somebody put in the chat. So I do wanted to ask your opinion on that before we jump off, like, and kind of have a little conversation around it, if you're okay with it.
Yeah, no, 100%. Absolutely. I think it's worth going after high school kids. I think, and this is something I mentioned last on the Monday show, I think is like when you make the game all about money, then it's always going to be about money. Like when you're going after kids late in the cycle and you're trying to flip them, that's most likely due to money. It's not because they're just like, oh, I just really miss Boulder. It's more like it's a bidding war typically. And so I think making relationships with guys, these like, unranked guys, the Cam Newtons of the world, and like, that's all valuable. I don't know how much they're going to look at it. And like the Indiana method where there's no high 5 stars or 4 stars, like, I don't know how much they really haven't had success. Like Cormani was a flop in Boulder. He's doing well now. Jordan is now gone. Travis is Travis. He's a unicorn, but like they really haven't had a whole lot of success banking on the stars in high school. But it's important to build relationships because they come back. We would not have DeAndre Moore if he hadn't built a relationship with Coach Marion when he was going to Texas. So like, that's a high school kid, came in, built a relationship. That's important. We also shouldn't put all of our eggs in a single basket with that. Yeah, and
I get both sides of it. I see both sides of it, I should say. And I'm just more of like, man, just the loyalty piece there, right? Like, that's where I struggle. I guess that is where I'm struggling, is if this is a whole roster overturn every single year, these young kids these high school kids that you went and put in all this money and work, and you fly them out for official visits, fly staff out there, you write all these resources, and then they don't commit, or they do and they're here for a year, right? Like, and I get the relationship piece, I get all of those things, but what was the point of all that? Like, it's just wasted money, right? Like, and I'm almost curious, like, if you just keep having kids fly in and during the portal, and that's how you roll every year. And again, I don't like it, just because, like, now this year we got to relearn a bunch of players, jersey numbers, everything. Like, oh, I didn't know he was actually wearing number 32. Like, who is that? That whole thing. But I don't know, because then you get these kids out of the portal and they're ready to play right away. And again, just something off the top of my head, you go back up to that 72 out of 70 out of 105 roster spots. Maybe that's what they're thinking. If we get the older players, we don't need to fill all those roster spots, right? So because you have guys ready to play now.
Becomes a 1-year NFL free agency every single season. But yeah, I get your point. And I agree. The part that I have a problem with that is, like, I think it's been known at times, like, remember, you might not remember this, but like Felix Ojo, the 5-star who committed to Texas Tech, came to Boulder, and then like within 2 hours of leaving was like, I'm not interested in Boulder anymore. And I'm like, so you just came for the sake of, you wanted a free trip. And like, that's the thing that I think we have to get away from, is just like flying kids out on this, like, I don't know if they were really in on Keelan Russell and some of the 5-star QBs they've gone after, but like that whole thing, I don't know if that's my cup of tea. I want the guys that want to be here and that are like hungry for a chance, as opposed to the guys that are like, hit my agent who's got the most money here. Yeah. And I think there's I'm sure that teams are trying to figure out a method. Like, how do we weed through all the bullshit, right? Like all this other stuff. Do they really want to be here? Like, and again, Dylan Manuel the other day, when we had him on Monday's show, and just that ending, man, like, it's like, bro, like, you're like 20 years old, man, and you were just motivated the shit out of me. Like, that is what I want to hear. I'm like fired up, dude. I want to go play next with you. Again, I'm not going to be very good, but dude, I want to go play right next to you. I want to go to Boulder to play with you. You know what I mean? Like, or anywhere. Where are we playing at today? Like, just go play at the park, right? So those are the kind of guys you want here. And Dylan Manuel, shout out to you, dude. You did a fantastic job. That ending, so many people gave compliments on that. But those are the kind of guys we need in Boulder, right? Or for your program, wherever it is. Yeah. And just like the nicest person. Like, just I communicated with him. I reached out to him to see if he wanted to be on the show, and just like, so it says yes, sir, every single time. And I'm like, yeah, I don't deserve that. Like, you know what I mean? Like that, I appreciate it, but like he's overly respectful and like overly polite and just like things like that I love.
I think Humble Texan said something about Dylan Manuel earlier, and it was
I pinned it. Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just fantastic though. So again, I don't know what the right answer is, and I don't know which one of us is right. Right? It's one of those things like we don't know who's right. You know what I mean? And there is no right answer.
The last thing I want to say on Seaton specifically is we've been waiting for like the domino to fall on like, it's almost like the housing market where it's like, how high can this go before people are like, I don't know if this is worth it. This is, too much. How, like if he drives up his price, he goes to an Oregon, they pay him $6 million. And then he like, I'm not projecting anything, but he shows up and he's just like a really good left tackle at Oregon and not the number one left tackle in the country. Does that drive the market back down? Does that make people be like the next left tackle that comes on next season, the next Jordan Seaton? Do they go, we kind of learned our lesson on this a little bit? Like, where is the bubble in this? That's where I'm kind of curious. So if he drives it up and we figure it out because of this, we learn something in the process.
Oh, this is interesting. Check this out. Rodney Freeman said Texas and LSU pulled out because the boosters said they're not paying that type of money for an offensive tackle. And again, I think in the NFL you do, right? You do pay for that in the NFL. In college, though, you can get by and you can do very well with a solid left tackle, just a solid, not even a solid left tackle. So I don't know.
I want to push back on that team a bit because I heard he is visiting LSU. So I don't know if they fully pulled out, but it goes back to my point around starting your bidding at $2.5 million is crazy to me. Like even just making that public in any capacity is crazy to me. If he was getting paid $2 million at CU and so he's like, hey, we're starting it here. It's bad. He tipped his hand. Like I don't know. It feels weird. Like either way. But yeah,
Cam, he did. Yep. And from everything I heard, and I'm not sure, and I think we talked about this, but everything I've heard is he has been hands-on, looking over every single player, which as a head coach is tough to do, right? Because you have your position coaches, you have your coordinator, right? All the different coordinators. It is tough to do. And my understanding is Coach Prime has been there grinding away, watching the film, meeting with each kid. And that is really, really difficult to do.
Yeah. And we've said like this is going to be the last thing like 5 times, but like I promise the last one is it's important to remember too, that like CU is in a good position money-wise. They are not a, hey, donor, let's go write a check to bring Seaton back at $4 million type. They are a program that if Texas is evaluating if a Wake Forest left tackle is worth it in the value versus cost comparison in terms of like production, what you're going to get and what it's going to cost you, you can rest assured that CU is also having to have that discussion around like we don't have unlimited funds, and if he's going to cost us, and this is not us reporting anything, if he's going to cost us $1 to $2 million, what can we get for that money? I don't know whether or not. Some people have speculated that like this opens up an extra amount versus they knew about it and they already spent it.
Yeah, I saw that.
We're not in the building. We don't know that. You imagine a guy like DeAndre Moore has a high price tag. Who knows? Like if they still had a lot of money to spend, they probably would have spent it.
Yep. And Cam, before I'm not sure when you joined, but this is what I was talking about. Like, he does not run block very well. And again, it shows that like it didn't get better this year, right? It did not. And we know that. So I'm just kind of, I'm not sure. And Rodney, we talked about that's why they signed, why Texas signed the offensive tackle. Miles was talking about that earlier from Wake Forest. So it is, there's something going on here. I hoping nothing but the best now. Hopefully there's a lesson learned from this. And I just hope he succeeds wherever he goes. But I don't like the way he left.
Yeah, that's my piece on the matter. I put out a graphic saying thank you, Jordan, and then by the end of that week, I was like, I don't really know. Like, thank you for everything you did. Thank you for all the attention and the going on national television and calling people to Colorado. Like, we wouldn't have a lot of the recruits and all the people. We might not even have Juju if Jordan wasn't here. So we do need to thank him for his time in Boulder. we don't necessarily need to continue to follow and do all this stuff. But this is the last that we'll cover him. We promise. Do you want to touch on like who may be available, or do we want to save that for a future episode?
Let's save it because I am at a loss now with tackles from what we've heard.
Me too.
And I guess my yes or no. Okay, give me an answer real quick, Miles. It doesn't have to be yes.
Hit me.
If he were to come back, would you take him back?
1,000%, 100%, not a doubt. Gosh, it's a good question. Like, the reason I say yes to that is because if that was the case, we either found more money and we were able to, do that. And I just trust Coach Prime in the sense that, like, if they were able to get a clear answer on Boot Carter and they had some character concerns there, and like they felt like they could trust him to come in and stuff. I just think that if he wanted to come back and Prime was like good with it and trusted him and like they had the money for it and they felt it was this is the part that's important. If they felt it was an effective use of the money that they had to spend, then I'm okay with it. If that means that we're not going to get any more corners, we're not going to get a big D tackle, we're not going to like these guys, we're basically like spending our last dollar on something like this. That's up. But if it came out, if it broke news right now saying Jordan Seaton is coming back to Colorado, you don't think my heart would flutter a little bit? Like I'd be like, shit, it's sick.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know. You're not. I would
lean towards no. Train? I would lean towards no. I mean, I want the guys that want to be here, right? And again, it's not that Jordan Seaton's he works his ass off. He does everything. It's just the bridges that were burnt. Like how do you go explain that to the graphics team? Oh, it's better to, and is it better to get the player back, or is there some life lessons that are needed to be learned there, right? As they are still growing young men, Yeah. So I
also just want to win ball games. So like, I'm not going to, for me personally, like thinking about the college football game, like if a 95 overall left tackle wants to come play for my team, like I'm just thinking about it in that sense, but it's not going to happen. The bridges are burned. We're moving on past Jordan Seaton. We'll talk about options, who's on the roster, who's still in the portal. Could be a guy that's not in the portal yet, and that again, that's not reporting, just a hypothetical, but we'll talk about that all next week.
And again, so thank you guys. I think we went over the time that we even thought we would, Miles, but just great conversation. Appreciate every single one of you guys. Like we always talk about, like the messages, just absolutely love you guys. You guys are the reason, you guys make this show each and every single time we run it. So,
and on a Friday night, nonetheless, like, appreciate you guys all for just being here and talking bus with us. These are all this is awesome. And so, if you guys are still here hanging on, let us know, what you're looking forward to this weekend. And, the one I want to ask is who you guys got in the national championship. That's the question I want to know from you guys. If you're still hanging out on here in the chat,
Indiana, that's who I'm going with.
You think so?
By 10. Give me him by 10. Yeah.
Can you imagine if it came out and it was like a 50-10 ball game and they just like steamrolled the whole playoff?
Hey, my Raiders, we got the number 1 pick. Mendoza's the guy. Yeah. So I'm in I was talking to David Talk Sports, and he goes, dude, you are in football hell. He told me this months ago. He's like, you're in football hell. You like the Colorado Buffs and the Raiders? Like, yeah. He's like, well, dude, damn, at least I got, he's like, at least I have the Broncos. He's like, yeah, dude, you have no idea. So
yeah. So and as I've come to, do more of these shows and stuff, I want you guys to get to know me more. And so I'll tell you this piece of information. You're a Raiders fan. This is different. I'm a Miami Heat fan. I grew up, I don't know if my brother is still here in the chat, but I grew up a Miami Heat fan, being in from the Northeast. It's a whole backstory. You don't want to know all that. But point being, like, I went through the Jimmy Butler saga, and I understand what like a locker room issue sounds like in all the Jordan Seaton stuff. But the bigger part was like, they've been so mid for the last 3 to 5 years that like the Buffs is like my only hope. Or like, I need a team to be good. I just want to have that excitement, get to the championship type. But
but don't you like the Patriots?
Yeah, I'm all over the place. It doesn't make any sense.
But you like you mean. Yeah,
I'm a 50-50 Broncos Patriots fan. If any of my family or those people are watching, they're gonna kill me if they find out that I said it. I'm not just a Patriots fan.
I got the people that like the Broncos. I do think it's going to be Patriots versus Bills in the AFC Championship game. So that's my prediction for that.
I agree with you there.
Okay.
We'll see. Yeah. And again, college football playoff, you guys have predictions, throw them in. We're getting a lot of IUs. I think that's the
who did you have?
Me?
Yeah. You were trying to get out of here without making a pick. Yeah.
No, I know. You almost got me.
Yeah.
I'm going to choose Indiana because they've just been so dominant. But at the same time, like Carson Beck has been he's really taken his game to a new level in the playoffs, and their O-line is nasty. Their defensive line is nasty. This is like the true bout of like, is it stars or is it talent? Like this is like the final test of that, right? Like they've got the studs on the D-line from Miami, and Indiana's got the guys that got the heart. So like, we'll see. We're going to learn a lot about college football in this one game alone.
Oh yeah. No, I'm excited for it, but yeah, let's wrap things up. So again, appreciate you guys again, as always. Make sure you guys give us a follow on X at Manny_303 at Miles High Buffs. Make sure you guys follow on X, our X channel account. Make sure you guys follow there because that is where we are sending all of our updates out everywhere at Colorado VOCFB. Will you have one, Miles?
I have one more thing I need to ask, and this is me plugging a little bit here. I was as of when we went live today, I was one follower away from 1,000 followers. So I just want one person. That's all I want. It's the one follow. So, and thank you for hitting the subscribe. Appreciate you guys locking in. Have a great rest of your Friday. Be safe. No drinking, driving, nothing of that nature. Go, be respectful buffs in the community, and we'll see you next week.
And hey, we didn't do this on Monday because we weren't feeling it. Like former Buff Heisman Trophy winning Travis Hunter did. Let's go Buffs, baby! Enjoy your guys this weekend. We won't be on Monday because the national championship. We'll send out an update though when we plan to do a show. But really do appreciate you guys. Thank you. And I'm at like 300 followers. If you guys just want to help, it'd be really cool. So just you can follow me as well. So I really do appreciate you guys though. So thank you. Have a great weekend, guys. Really enjoy a long weekend.
Yeah. Bye.